Hiya, welcome to my compound life. This is a channel where we build assets, we build habits, and we build freedom. And that will hopefully be financial freedom, time freedom for all of us. So thanks for watching. I'm your host, Jonathan. It's good to see you. And before we start, any chance if you can just hit the like, hit subscribe. I'm very low on my subscriber counts. If you can become I think I'm on 23rd. Yeah, if you can become my 24th, 25th subscribers, that would be awesome. Okay, so just also drop a comment and let me know who you are. Okay, so now it's from the time of recording, it is the 16th of December, around 10-ish a.m. in the UK, West Midlands. Beautiful. Well, nothing's beautiful today. Weather sucks. Bitcoin chart sucks. But anyway, at the time of recording, Bitcoin is around 86,300. And we had a bottom around yesterday, around 6:30 actually. And the bottom was around 85,200 USDs. Okay, so we haven't fully recovered, and I don't kind of anticipate any V-shaped recovery all of a sudden, because I think investors are still in the sideline waiting for the Japan rate hike to take place, then eventually decide what to do next. So I'll cover a little bit of that in later in the video, so watch towards the end. Okay, so in terms of the fear and greed index, we are at present at fear level at 22. And of course, I think as soon as the market opened from yesterday, with the Bitcoin dumped, it's not exactly positive sentiment, right? So obviously compared to the fear and greed index from yesterday, yesterday was actually higher at 24. Okay, so overall last week fear and greed index was around 25. So this really shows Bitcoin has really been, on side chops for the past few weeks. And if we zoom out a little bit, Bitcoin essentially gotten back to where it was around 3-4 weeks ago, right? So nothing new. But I kind of also have the anticipation that, perhaps this time around the bear market might be coming. Okay. I'm taking a look quickly in terms of the 50 days moving average. I think it's dropping very fast, right? So ever since when Bitcoin Death Cross formed on the 15th of November, so it's it's about a month now, and that was when Bitcoin 50 days moving average was around 110, and now it has dropped to about 95,500. Okay, so yeah, I think, if we do have the anticipation of taking profit, the next taking profit area, very likely it might be on the line for 50 days simple moving average. Okay, so yes, it's dropped a lot, and I kind of foresee that it will drop further maybe in the coming weeks, or depends on, I think it's very likely there will definitely be a rate increase from Bank of Japan. But I think, it's just to see the extent of it after the rate hike. Okay, so let's quickly look through the ETF. 15th of December. So essentially, it's, we've only got one day, which is yesterday, 15th of December. For Bitcoin, it's actually bearish. Okay, very bearish. It is negative, and that's an outflow of $357 million. Okay, so a lot of retail are selling selling their ETF, hence such a big sell-off. And let's quickly take a look in terms of the weekly so far for this week. Technically speaking, only one day's worth of data, right? In terms of weekly inflows for Bitcoin, would this be inflows or outflow, right? So far with yesterday's data, I mentioned that it was an outflow of 357 million so far for this week. In comparison to last week, it was only inflow. It was bull for last week, inflow of 286 million. Okay, so yesterday alone completely wiped off last week's ETF inflow. Okay, so yeah, I think I kind of anticipate more pain, more max pain to come. It may very well follow similar outflow for the past, the major dump of the past 4 weeks, right? So on the week ending of the November 21st, it was at around excess of $1.2 billion outflow, right? So I think we might get back to that level of outflow again, whilst everyone are, still deciding the extent of the Japanese Bank of Japan rate hike. So yes, so 1.22 billion outflow. The week before was 1.11 billion. So it was all in the billions when Bitcoin outflow was at its biggest dump. So yes, I think this week might as well be similar. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. So Ethereum ETF was also pretty bearish at around negative 224 million outflow. What about Solana? Solana, well, good for Solana. I mean, Solana continue to be strong. ETF inflow of 35 million yesterday. Okay, so everyone experienced dump except for Solana. But having said that, Solana, it's such a smaller market cap tokens. So usually it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and will eventually lead on to Solana. Okay, so that's the whole situation for today for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is still trading at around 86.3, well, increasing 86.4 now. But over the last 24 hours, price is down roughly 4%, right? Coming off level above 89,000 and briefly touching a 2-week low near 85,700. Okay, so not the best time for Bitcoin, I'm afraid. What this tells us is that short-term pressure is clearly on the downside. Buyers are stepping back for now, and the market feels heavy rather than confident. Okay, so I think clear implication, I think we may continue to have a bearish momentum and be very prepared that Bitcoin will drop from its current support and continue to go down further, right? There wasn't one single trigger for me to say, what moves the price, but I'm sensing, it's a lot to do with everyone waiting for the Japan rate cut. hence, all of this sell-off, right? So I think the big macro focus this week is still Japan. The Bank of Japan meeting ends Thursday into Friday, so 18th and 19th of December will be very, very key. Markets are widely expecting a rate hike from 0.5 to 0.75%, which would essentially be Japan's highest interest rate in roughly 30 years, okay? And why is this matter for Bitcoin holders, right? Japan has had ultra low rates for decades. Investors borrow cheap yen, convert it, and buy risk assets like Bitcoin stocks, tech stocks, etc., right? So this is known as yen carry trade. And when Japan raises rates, yen strengthens, carry trades get unwound, and risk asset like Bitcoin often gets sold. Okay, as we can definitely see now, Bitcoin are getting sold very, very quickly. Okay, so here's an important part that I think many of you might be interested. So how Bitcoin reacted to past Japan rate hikes, right? So we do have some historical data. I think it's quite important. So every recent Bank of Japan rate hike, it has always led to sharp Bitcoin pullbacks, like right now, okay? So on March 2024, right, it leads Bitcoin to a drop of 23%, okay? In July 2024, it has also resulted in Bitcoin dropping about 26%, right? And on earlier January 2025, again, it was a drop of 25 to 28% drop, okay? So if we take average of the past few instances, that would give us around 25 to 30% potentially Bitcoin drop, right? So usually the pattern is price weaken before the announcement, Thursday or Friday, right? Leading on to big sell-off after the hike is confirmed, right? So I think by Friday, we should see a massive amount of sell-off. There will be heaps of liquidation that happens because, anyone on long, Bitcoin long liquidation will essentially be liquidated, right? And followed by, few weeks later, there will be stability, right? So if you don't like the ugliness of the price action right now on Bitcoin chart, don't look at it until a few weeks after, right? So if you're not in a hurry to sell, right, I think would be a good opportunity for people to come in and buy, but not the best time to sell, right? So if you're not in a hurry to sell, right, if you're not on leverage trading long, right, then don't look at the chart for another 2 weeks, I guess. But you can look at my video, right? Just hit the like, hit subscribe, so that you can keep up to date on a daily basis, and I'll tell you what's going on, right? So if rate hike does happen, which it definitely will, what will happen, right? So of course the yen will be strengthened, carry trades unwind, Bitcoin and other risk assets get sold very quickly, and in the short term, right, if we take the average of 25 to 30% drop for Bitcoin, this will eventually bring us down to about 70,000 USD per Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm not saying that it will happen, but I'm also indicating that it might happen, right? Because based on historical event of the Japanese rate hike. So yeah, bear that in mind. I'm not saying to sell now, but I'm also hinting, if if this is true, you might be able to get more Bitcoin at the low, right? So good opportunity to, to buy low, sell high, I guess. So yes, I still believe there could still be a dead cat bounce, a quick relief rally after a big drop of such, like 25-30% drop. However, whether we be able to get back to 100,000 USD per Bitcoin anytime soon, I doubt it, right? I'm kind of sensing that we are entering a bear market, and potentially this Japanese rate hike carry trade unwind will essentially drop Bitcoin and cause a load of other capitulation in other companies. So yeah, I think, sorry to tell you that, sorry to inform you guys on this. Okay, apart from that, let's look at some news in the UK and the rest of the world. UK news, I think interesting. I think this was announced yesterday on December the 15th. UK government confirmed that crypto assets, including Bitcoin, will fall under UK financial regulations starting in October 2027. This announcement came from UK Treasury and means that crypto firms operating in the UK will need FCA approval. So following similar rules into bank and investment firms. So that's good. I think that's very good. So the rules will cover trading, custody, lending, and staking, right? So I think this definitely matters to Bitcoin holders like us, because Bitcoin moves further into the financial mainstreams in the UK, right? So I think there are a lot of people in the UK right now doesn't really dare to buy or sell Bitcoin or crypto. I think because there are a lot of tax laws, etc. in place, and a lot of people not willingly to get in yet because there's so much legal unclarity, right? So I think with clearer rules, it reduces any legal uncertainty for all of us and make it easier for institutions, funds, and serious investors to allocate capital into Bitcoin. So I think generally this is good news, but this will not have any clear effect for this cycle. Well, anyway, this cycle is almost ending, right? But somehow I felt maybe the next cycle will be better, right? Will bring more capital into Bitcoin and essentially, drive up the market caps for Bitcoin. So all good in the long term, but no short-term price action, I'm afraid. And also, I think for the rest of the world, I think there are some report that I'm seeing about China tightening mining rules, which added some short-term selling pressure, right? So hence Bitcoin price dip a little bit. At the same time, the broader crypto market is mostly red today, reflecting global risk of sentiment. Okay, so I think another one, I think it's quite bullish. But long-term bullish, short-term simply no price action. The Russia largest bank, Sberbank, I can't pronounce it. Help me to pronounce it. Just type me a comment there. Sberbank. They obviously said they are exploring Bitcoin crypto services. Good to have, onboarding more Russian retail investors into Bitcoin. So I think that's all good. So in summary, wrap up, Bitcoin had a rough 24 hours, dropping towards 86,000 or 85 high as markets turn risk off and buyers stay on the sidelines. Okay, are you staying on the sidelines? Let me know in the comment. Are you buying? Are you buying the dip? or are you, are you like panic selling? Just let me know in the comments too. Right? I just want to capture the sentiment. So short term, the tone is cautious to bearish, especially with Japan rate decision approaching and ETF flows staying quiet. Okay. So bottom line, I felt short-term noise and volatilities are definitely happening right now. But of course, Bitcoin still have long-term strong fundamental. Just simply hodl for now. Hodl for your hodl bag and your Bitcoin swing bag. Not the best time to sell. And maybe not even look at the charts for until next week. Yeah, but you can definitely watch my video. Okay, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what's your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.